Welcome! I am Emir, and let's look back in hindsight. Welcome to the final episode of German Month, which has been running for 2 months now. I got carried away. Let's talk about the parodies. Oh, the parodies. And let's answer that important question. Are these even legal? Because, as I said in my fair use in Germany and Europe video, there is no fair use in Germany, nor in Europe, at least in the European Union. So, how are these parodies all legal? How can Bruno Ganz's character reacts to insert latest news or viral hit here be consistent with copyright law? Apparently, I can't say his name because of the algorithm. Another word I can't say. So, join me in another episode of the Fair Use Saga. If you haven't seen any of these yet, a link to the episode of why fair use is important should float on top of me now. What are these parodies about? I already mentioned Bruno Ganz's character reacts to insert latest news or viral hit here. These videos involve the scene in Der Untergang, Downfall in English, where Bruno Ganz's character rants after he finds out that Steiner refused to carry out the offensive to relieve Berlin from the Soviets. Ganz's character comes to terms with reality, but proclaims that he'd rather take his own life than flee. However, instead of a translation of the original German, the subtitles would show Ganz's character commenting on a recent event or on a meme. Meme? Sometimes, these reaction videos would feature clips from other scenes in Downfall, or even clips from other media. That's the most popular format of the Downfall parodies. But that's not the only one. Other scenes from Downfall where Ganz's character rants have also been used. Sometimes, the parodies poke fun of the characters themselves. An example is the Fegelein Saga, where Ganz's character tries but fails to outsmart Himmler's adjutant Hermann Fegelein, who is portrayed in these parodies as an antics master. Antics. Pranks. I would like to remind everyone that the actual Fegelein was a monster, just like everyone else. At least, everyone else in the bunker. There's a wiki on Downfall parodies which discuss in full all the different types of videos remixing scenes from the movie. You can go check that out for more detail. Hey, I'd talk about them right now, but if I did that, we'd be here all day. Let's go to the legal discussion now. I already discussed before how parodies may be protected by fair use. This will not be a rehash, except when relevant to my question here. Again, whether or not parody is in good taste does not matter in determining whether it is fair use. Schwabach's article on Downfall parodies, quote, addresses the question of whether the addition of subtitles or audio commentary to part or all of a copyrighted work infringes on the copyright in that work. End quote. In short, his discussion is limited to the Bruno Ganz's character reacts to set of parodies. But his analysis also applies to Ganz's character is informed, or Ganz's character plans, or Ganz's character explains set of parodies. These are derivative works, a term which has a very wide definition, which led Schwabach to describe it of, quote, little guidance, unquote. He continued, quote, subtitles generally would seem to fall within this, They are most commonly used for translation from one language to another, or as a second means of conveying information in the same language, a change of form, that is. End quote. As I mentioned before, derivative works are related to the author's right of transformation, one of the rights covered by copyright, which, to remind you, are exclusive. Only the copyright owner can exercise or allow these rights. Therefore, only the copyright owner of Downfall can make or allow parodies. I doubt anyone who makes these rants parodies ask for permission. If they do, please correct me. If there is permission, then that's good. If none, then, as I pointed out in my video on the importance of fair use, that's copyright infringement. But there are defenses to that. One defense is a long list of specific copyright exceptions or limitations. This list isn't applicable here. The Downfall parodies, not just the rants ones, do not fall under any of the exceptions under German or European law. Another is fair use, which Schwabach focuses on. To recall, fair use is a 4-factor test. For Schwabach, quote, the second factor, the nature of the copyrighted work, the first work, weighs in favor of the copyright holder, end quote. However, the United States Supreme Court ruled in the Campbell versus Acuff Rose or the Oh Pretty Woman case that the second factor is of little use in parody cases. Schwabach said that it is less clear in whose favor the first factor weighs. The first factor being the purpose and character of the use, because the parodies are neither of a commercial nature nor for non-profit educational purposes. Meanwhile, for him, the third factor, the amount and substantiality of the portion used, is in favor of the parodists, because it only uses a small portion of the movie. Again, to remind everyone, he's just commenting on the rant's type of parodies. Lastly, he focuses on the fourth factor, which should outweigh the others, as often argued according to him. This is the market substitution test. In the Campbell case, the question was whether a parody rap version of the song harmed the market not only for the original 1960s version, but also the market for a non-parody rap version. In the case of Downfall, the question is not only if the rant's parodies, in general, not just the YT channel, harm the market for the original movie, and not only harm the market for non-parody rant videos. I don't know how that works, but also if the rant's parodies harm the market for parodies made or authorized by the copyright owner of Downfall. Schwabach concludes that with two factors in favor of the parodies, including the market substitution test, the fourth factor, and only one in favor of the copyright owner, the second factor, the parodies seem likely to fall under fair use. Schwabach also discussed if the rant's type of Downfall parodies can be considered parodies in the legal sense, as defined by the U.S. Supreme Court in the Campbell Oh Pretty Woman case. In that case, hello, Captain Obvious. The court ruled that Two Live Crew's Pretty Woman parodied, made fun of, ridiculed Roy Orbison's Oh Pretty Woman. However, Schwabach observed that the parodies do not seem to be parodying the movie Downfall. Rather, they are parodying the historical figure. Schwabach offers an interesting argument in favor of considering these downfall parodies as parodies under the law. Part of the US Supreme Court's discussion on parody in the Pretty Woman case, Pretty Woman case. Pretty Woman is the parody. Anyway, part of the US Supreme Court's discussion on parody is the transformative test. A work is transformative when it adds new meaning or message or expression. Schwabach pointed out that the degree of transformativeness becomes a matter of perspective. For me, that can't be good. The legal system favors stability, not relativity. Please subscribe and ring the bell to be instantly notified of Balik Tanaw /in Hindsight episodes. Please like and share this video and all my videos across social media. Do check out all of my other videos and comment. Please support the show on paypal.me/Balik Tanaw, where you can give out any amount you want, or on Patreon, patreon.com/Balik Tanaw. Patrons on Patreon get early access to videos, get to see their names at the end of each video, and get to request reviews of a movie, an album, a song, a television show, or even on one-hit wonders. Or, at the very least, they get exclusive access to posts, which no one else can. Lastly, thank you to my sibling G-G Arts for the microphone I used for this video. She also designed my avatar. Check out her work on the links in the description. Thank you. And now, what were we talking about? To recap, the rant's parodies can be legally considered parodies, but may or may not be transformative, depending on the perspective of the audience. To recall, these 2 points are part of the first factor test, the purpose and character of the use. In which way does the first factor go then? For the parodist or the copyright owner? A word on Schwabach's analysis. I don't know why he split 1. The discussion of whether the downfall parodies meet the 4-factor fair use test, and 2. The discussion of whether or not these parodies can be considered parodies as legally defined by the US Supreme Court, as well as whether they are transformative. In the Campbell case, these tests were all just part of a single fair use analysis. Whether or not a parody can indeed be legally considered a parody, and whether a use is transformative, these are all part of the first factor test, the purpose and character of the use. If Schwabach followed this structure of analysis, he would have still arrived at the same conclusion. The next part of Schwabach's article is interesting. According to him, quote, works that are transformative are not derivative within the meaning of Section 106, Paragraph 2, and parody is transformative. The lack of any clear distinction between parody and other transformative uses, plus the Campbell Court's explanation that parodies need not be particularly funny in order to be protected as parodies, provides an argument that all transformative uses are not only not derivative, but also protected both as fair use and by the First Amendment, and thus not infringing, unquote. He then cites the portion of Campbell, the Oh Pretty Woman case, where the United States Supreme Court ruled that whether a parody is in good or bad taste does not matter in determining if it is a fair use, and also the portion where the court ruled that the First Amendment, freedom of speech, protects not only parodies which are funny. Therefore, quote, The question of transformativeness thus replaces, or perhaps becomes the test for whether the work is a parody. End quote. I have a different conclusion of his analysis. For me, the first point, quote, works that are transformative are not derivative within the meaning of section 106 number 2, unquote. This means that transformative works cannot be considered derivative works. Since they are not derivative works, then the copyright owner's exclusive right of transformation is not affected. Since this right is not affected in the first place, then there's no copyright infringement to begin with. If there's no copyright infringement to begin with, then why complain? Video over. No, not yet. I digress. Schwabach pointed out some more challenges that Rant's downfall parodies must face. Compared to a video like Edward Cullen meets Buffy Summers, the parodies of the downfall scene of Bruno Ganz's character's rants, quote, require little work to create, although some may involve no less originality than far more difficult works, unquote. End quote. In addition, the videos may be less transformative than they appear. As for the idea of such a serious scene being used for laughs, Hirschspiegel thinks it actually fits with the theme of the movie. Because of this, Schwabach pointed out, quote, ironically, Hirschspiegel's approval might undermine the transformative use argument. If the fan uses are consistent with the director's intended interpretation of the work, perhaps they are not transformative after all. End quote. But there's one more argument in favor of the parodies. Quote, in the director's home country, however, Germany, his lack of objection might work the other way, torpedoing a moral rights argument. German copyright law gives broader protection to the author than US law. The alienability of copyright is more restricted than in the US, and the moral rights of the author are protected. End quote. Schwabach's analysis does not necessarily apply to full-length parodies like the Yodel Rebellion or Bruno Ganz's character for President 2012 or 2016 or 2020 or the Brotherhood of Fegaline or Back to the I Can't Say That or War of the Different Portrayals of Ganz's Character. I can't say Schwabach's analysis applies. Why? Because they use more scenes from Downfall, they may not meet the third factor test. Remember, a parody may only copy so much to make the object of its wit recognizable. Only enough for the audience to know what is being parodied. Also, there is no fair use in German law and in European law. So, if the copyright owner of Downfall sues there, they would likely win. Whether a ruling in their favor could be enforced in the United States is another matter. I mentioned the public policy exception before. I can argue that a ruling applying the copyright law of a country without fair use would be contrary to the public policy of the United States, which allows for fair use to protect and further freedom of speech. Part of that discussion would be if the Downfall rants parodies are fair use, which we've been going through in this video. Ultimately, Schwabach concludes that the rant's Downfall parodies are transformative and are fair use. However, these are defenses. The appropriate occasion to raise them is when a parodist is sued in court. Therefore, fair use does not prevent taking down of videos either by YT's CID system, I can't even say the name, or by the threat of litigation. However, copyright owners, including Constantine Films, copyright owner of Downfall, have chosen to monetize these parodies instead of having them get taken down. What does that mean? Something amazing, I guess? Here's the thing. Parodies may claim fair use, but that doesn't mean they own copyright over the parodies. Even if they work hard to sync Gans's character's tirade with the latest world leader blunder, or an upcoming movie or video game, or with the latest viral video or meme, or meme, the parodies don't own copyright. But hey, at least they don't go to jail. Thank you for joining me in this 2-month-long German month. I enjoyed doing these videos. Finally got a chance to talk about them. As I said in my travel time video, why spend and risk your life to fly abroad if you can just research from the comfort of your home? We have the internet, the internet, the internet, the internet.